What happens when a creator grows so fast that not even TikTok can explain it?
Over time, Lyanna was growing 1 million followers a month on TikTok. I had TikTok saying to me, like, how is she doing this?
But massive success brought massive challenges.
I think because a lot of it was super quick, I didn't know how to manage it all. I think it was very overwhelming.
I sit down with Leana Deeb and her manager, Saad Aslam, to learn about how they built a global business while staying true to their values.
We say no very frequently. We aren't jumping to every deal. We aren't focused on quick wins or quick monetization methods.
They explain the launch of a new fitness app and the design of a groundbreaking modesty collection in partnership with GymShark.
It's not just women of the Islamic faith that want these modest options. It's women that just want coverage in general. And they listened, they supported, and so now it has turned into working on my own modesty collection with them.
This is a story of what it takes to transform from viral creator to global entrepreneur.
Lyanna is a business. She's a human being, but she is a business. And like every business, she needs order, she needs organization, infrastructure, and everything else that makes a business flourish.
So today on the podcast, I'm joined by Saad and Lyanna. welcome to the show.
Thank you for
having us.
Excellent. So Saad, you are from the GenFlow Creator Agency. Can you explain to everybody what is GenFlow?
Sure. So first thing is GCA is part of GenFlow. I've been at GenFlow since 2019. I started there as the Chief Growth Officer. What we do at GenFlow is we build businesses with creators. So if you were somebody that wanted to launch an energy drink, if you wanted to launch a fitness app, a clothing brand, we become your business partners and we grow and operate that business with you. In that time of spending at GenFlow building these brands, I got a really unique insight into how their worlds work fundamentally. And I always, I would always have this parallel of when I was working with, let's say, an athlete, and I could see the depth of their infrastructure when it comes to management and strategic team and all the people that work under their ecosystem in order to make them a success, versus working with, let's say, a standard influencer or a creator who would have a very surface level management organization happening for them. This essentially represented to me like a clear gap in the market. Creators have always been, back then, back in 2019, 2020, we were always saying creators are the future. They're going to determine consumer decision-making. They're going to build these large communities around the world, change lives, influence people in a positive way. So why weren't they being taken as seriously as, other profiles? So that was the gap for me. The gap was creators deserve better. They deserve more. How are we going to do that, and can we do that? So I wanted to build a management business that could redefine the way creators were being managed. And I basically co-founded what was co-founded at the time as GenFlow Talent with and under the GenFlow umbrella, which today is GCA, going to our 4th year. And that's exactly what we do at GCA. I'm proud to say that the original vision that we had, which was we're going to manage creators, we're going to give them depth in their infrastructure, proper management teams, all the attention they need, the strategic advice, how to execute and have the best brand partnerships, how to grow your audience, multi-platform content strategies, and then potentially they could launch their own business with us under the GenFlow umbrella, all in all. So that's what we do at GCA, and that's basically, should give you some insight into who we are.
Excellent. Well, I'm excited to get into the detail of that and how you support creators. But we've obviously got one of the leading creators with us today, Lyanna. So Lyanna, can you just give everyone a background to what inspired you to create content and the type of content that you create?
Yeah, so I started as a creator in 2021 of November, and I always loved fitness. That was how I started my social media. I was training people in person, but I also played semi-professional soccer. So I was always into fitness. But after I stopped playing soccer, the gym kind of became my outlet. And whenever I started helping other people, social media started taking off. I started learning more about TikTok and Instagram. And how everyone says like timing is everything. It was the timing was super, it was so weird because at the time fitness was kind of just like very pretty. You didn't see people sweating in the gym or training hard. It was it looked easy. And whenever I got into the gym, I would literally like work so hard. I was sweating. I would put my hair up in a bun. Obviously, I wasn't wearing the hijab at the time. So this was before I transitioned into being covered. But I showed that on social media and knew that I could reach way more people and help them through finding fitness, through even nutrition as well. And so I started posting content on TikTok, and then it took off from there. And then I went into other platforms like Instagram and YouTube.
Excellent. Well, I'm really excited to get into that journey as well. But let's start with Saad. So just in terms of the GCA, how do you go about selecting or identifying creators that really align with your vision?
Of course, we have, the key indicators, so high post frequency, the quality of content, audience engagement and relationship, like their narrative, their messaging. Are they providing value? Are they growing? At what speed are they growing audience? So, are they waking up every day? You can tell, wanting to create content, talking on their stories, really making all efforts. We are looking for all those key indicators. But, alongside that, it is really about, believing in their story, believing in the person. We're looking for, we're looking to represent people that we're truly passionate about, and we want to invest our time, our infrastructure in. So, their purpose, their mission, for example, is really, really important for us. So yes, all the key indicators are there, but certainly looking at the depth of who they are is just as important for us. And like I said, we invest so passionately and huddle around them to create a successful partnership. So the fact that they need to be authentic and real probably sits right at the top for us.
Great. And can you take us through your thoughts just in terms of that immediate transactional nature that some management companies work to, and then your approach, which was much more focused around long-term growth and strategy?
I mean, that is exactly, I guess that's exactly how we work. We aren't about, quick wins here at GCA. A creator, especially the ones we represent, they're going to get opportunities every single day. That's going to keep happening. And I think really understanding the ones they shouldn't be taking and the ones that they should be taking is very, very important. We say no very frequently. We aren't jumping to every deal. We aren't focused on quick wins or quick monetization methods. It's all about what's authentic to the creator, what their audience wants to see from them, what things naturally integrate into their content and empowers who they are as human beings, as people. When you want to build something over a long period of time and it's going to have longevity attached to it, it has to be real, because if you're not being yourself, you're not being authentic, that's going to become very tiring very quickly and is not sustainable. So, our whole thing is empowering creators, giving them the confidence to look, whatever your message is, whatever your narrative is, if it's even entertainment, if it's comedy versus if it's, you're changing the world with your habits, that's okay. You just have to be yourself 100% of the time and be authentic. And that will, that supports the whole quick wins versus long-term wins scenario there, because ultimately we have to be patient and let the right things happen for talent. And that's the confidence that we give them, that, the right brands will find you, the right audience will find you, you just be yourself.
Got it.
Can I add on to that point?
Yeah, please do.
Even before, when I was signed to GCA, I was looking for help, I guess, when I started posting. And I was actually about to sign to another agency before I found GenFlow at the time. And I think the difference, I literally backed out of a deal that I was supposed to go through with one management agency, and they were like promising me everything. They were promising me how much money I was going to make and all these brands that I can work with. And they were showing me all the brands that they work with already. And whenever I found GenFlow, I reached out because I found it through another creator and emailed them. And then we got on a call the next day and they showed me the difference. It wasn't transactional. It felt like they were genuinely invested into my journey. And even how he mentioned, like the brands, you get a bunch of brand partnerships coming your way. We waited it was like 3 to 6 months of not working with certain brands, even when I was growing that fast and people were coming in, like offering me like lots of money, but I didn't take it. And they even said, do not take this. We'll wait for the brands that you want to work with that are authentic to you. And even at that time in my life, I was really in debt, so I needed it, but I stayed true to just believing in that we will work with the right brands. And so, yeah, adding on to that point about what made me choose GCA versus another management company.
That's really fascinating to hear. And so you actually reached out to GCA or GemFlow?
Yeah, I did. I reached out for marketing. I didn't even know what management was at the time. I was just very confused. Yeah, just wanted help.
Excellent. And so you, your profile, your channel has grown incredibly quickly. Can you explain a little bit about how GCA have supported you in that initial growth phase that you had?
Yeah. I think because a lot of it was super quick, I didn't know how to manage it all. I think it was very overwhelming. And Alicia and Saud, basically, Alicia is another talent manager, but they were basically making sure that I was making the right decisions in life that were aligning with my career as well.
That's fascinating. And I know that in your relatively short journey as a creator, you've made a transition as well from fitness content to the new focus on modesty. Can you describe that in a bit more detail and how they supported you?
So I had posted basically my transformation. It was all around my body, my hair, and just, yeah, being me and working hard in the gym, but also the beauty aspect of, that transformation of, not being super fit to being fit. And then I started gaining a bunch of success. And for some reason, I still had this like really big empty void. I think also I struggled with having confidence if it wasn't from my external appearance. So my internal confidence wasn't there. It was just about, how good I looked in content. I would always pick apart myself. Even when I was editing my videos, I would look back and be like, my body doesn't look good at that angle. It was always critiquing my body because I wanted it to look a certain way. And even though I had so much success and I guess the perfect physique in many ways that I would get comments from my audience, I still felt very empty. And also, I was wondering where all the blessings in my life were coming from at such a fast pace. And I wasn't really practicing faith. I was raised in a household where my mom was of the Catholic faith and my dad was of the Islam faith. And so I just started learning about like a higher power and basically a creator of the world in many ways and how I could give back to the creator of the world, I guess you could say, and started learning about faith. And then, yeah, I guess Islam spoke to me and I learned about modesty, what it meant. And then ever since then, I just knew that it was the next step in getting closer to my faith. So I had to make that transition and stay true to my beliefs, even though it came with a lot of risks for sure. But yeah, that's kind of how I transitioned from being uncovered to now covered.
Got it. That's a lovely story. And I know that you've got an upcoming collection with GymShark. Can you take us through that process just in terms of partner selection, how you discuss that between the two of you and the up and coming plans?
Yeah. So do you want to start this or me?
Yeah, I guess what was, this is how we work with any creator. It's about understanding, who they truly are, what their vision is for themselves, what brands, because of course they want to partner with, their brands, what brands fully align with them. In Lyanna's case, before we signed her, before she was, quote unquote famous, or if you like, she was wearing certain brands, she was consuming certain brands when it came to nutrition. So really it was, and it's always about, if those brands are who you actually use, if they're who you stand by and advocate for, these are the brands that you should be fundamentally working with. And that's a policy, and that's something that we're very proud of delivering for all creators. As it pertains to Lyanna, it was very, very clear who her choice brands were and who she wore every single day so proudly and loved. And as we signed her, of course, her audience growth was so fast, like something that we've never seen before. There was a time Lyanna was growing 1 million followers a month on TikTok. I had TikTok saying to me, like, how is she doing this? It was actually insane. And with that comes basically anything she wants, any brand she wants to work with, she can. But it was always very clear, Lyanna was a huge fan and always loved GymShark when it came to training in the gym and what she wore. And Bloom, who is her nutrition partner, was her choice brand for supplements and things that she was consuming. You know, she takes nutrition very, very seriously. So we discussed that together, and I'll allow Lyanna to elaborate on this. We discussed that together and essentially just kind of said no to everything else and waited for the right opportunities with those brands in order to build, you know, what we said to them on day one is like, we want to work together, but we want to do something long term. And, you know, they saw what was happening with Lyanna. They believed in her just like we did. And then it was just like lots of conversation over months on what's the best step and how do we grow this together and how do we start this journey. And coming now into Lyanna's 4th year, we're so proud to see that, you know, they are her 2 partners still from the very, very beginning. And, you know, the journeys have been absolutely incredible, and both brands have supported her through every aspect of her journey. So yeah, it was really important. Again, just keeping it authentic, staying authentic, ignoring the financial possibilities and really thinking long term what was best for her.
Got it. Lyanna?
Yeah, so all of that, and also because I was wearing GymShark, I was working with GymShark from, you know, not being covered. Through that transition to modesty, I didn't have many options of what to wear in the gym, and I was shopping in the men's section. I was like trying to do different styles of layering with like men's oversized t-shirts, and then it was just a constant struggle for about almost 2 years of not having clothes in the gym. And I was a person who loved the crop tops and the leggings and how many options there were. I just loved putting them on. They gave me so much confidence. I love fashion. And so I wanted to feel that same way with the modest options. And so it kind of started with GymShark to transition into modesty, of not having the clothes that I needed to wear in the gym, and even other women not having those options. And whenever I was expressing that to GymShark, I was saying that it's not just about faith. It's not just women of the Islamic faith that want these modest options. It's women that just want coverage in general. And they listened, they supported. And so now it has turned into working on my own modesty collection with them. And now they are also making more steps in putting more long line options across all of their launches. So it's not just my own collection, it's also taking into consideration of what else are we giving to the modesty market of the things that are going to, like, I guess, be in synergy with whatever they are launching in general. So yeah, it's taken a long time because I've had to show them that, you know, this is needed in the market. I think of course it's needed already, but there's not really brands that have like actually gotten behind it. And so GymShark really listened, and they've been actively trying to create more modest options, and the collection, of course, too.
It's amazing to hear the impact that you're having as a creator and working with GymShark like that. And tell us about the app. So you have an app. What have you learned about creating a fitness app?
Yeah, that was probably the hardest thing, was transitioning from a creator to an entrepreneur. It was something that my audience needed, though. Everything that I've created was something for my audience, what they needed. They would get my workouts from Instagram, but it wasn't really a strict plan. And whenever you are starting out in the gym, you should always follow at least your fundamental exercises and stick to a routine. And so I wanted to give that to them through an app so they could follow it on video, and it would just be easy for them to just show up in the gym, have their workout already. And it was honestly an amazing process. I think the hardest thing for me was whenever I was transitioning into modesty, we had to refilm every single exercise in the app. And so there was about like 600 workouts that were filmed. So then I had to refilm them again twice, actually, because yeah, it was a lot of transitioning. And also the messaging behind fitness changed. At first it was change your body. Now it's workout for mental health, for mindset, for overall health, not just to change the way that you look. It's more about taking care of yourself in every single way. And so that has been it wasn't too challenging. It's been an amazing journey, but yeah, it was definitely learning a lot more about myself, how I work with people, how I manage other people, from being a creator where I'm only focused in my own world to now running a business and getting on calls with people every single week. And so it has been a lot of lessons, but a lot of growth for sure.
Got it. And you talked there about that transition from creator to entrepreneur. Perhaps you can both talk about what is it like building the infrastructure and a team around a creator that's growing faster than anyone else in the world?
Um, we definitely have to take our time with understanding where this is going to go. But we've just moved, and we do this again. This is what we do. We're very agile as a business. We're entrepreneurial. We're free-spirited, and we're open to taking risks as well. And we're, like I said, we're investing in our creators, so we stand by that. I think in Lyanna's case, we just had to understand what this opportunity is, where it's going to go, what the potential is, and move with her if that was even possible, right? And it has been, when it comes to her career, whether she's filming content, whether she needs to launch a YouTube channel, I think we've always done everything together. We launched her YouTube channel together. That included bringing on a production team, for example, and that's something that we've done together. She has her fitness app, that is in partnership with GenFlow. And in that, she has a big business team, I would say, of around 15 to 18 people that work on her app, which is incredible. And she's leading, and they're working towards achieving her goals and vision. Again, those are people that, of course it's through GemFlow, very, very experienced people, but they've taken the time to understand Lyanna, understand what makes her special, what makes her unique, and how they can deliver product and experience against it. So I think, and even now, we've recently brought on a full-time videographer that travels the world with Lyanna. She has a long-form editor, and we're currently now hiring for more people that can join her content team. So really, and that's just with demand. So at every stage, we're understanding what she needs. Lyanna is a business. She's a human being, but she is a business. And like every business, she needs order, she needs organization, infrastructure, and everything else that makes a business flourish. And that's how we plan for her. That's how we look at her. And she sits at the top of it. And essentially, we have everything like, to her credit, 23 years old, came into this business at around 19, has just learned, and like an absolute human sponge, which is the best way you can be. Of course, has great people around her. And we function like a huge company now. But again, to your question, I think it's really about understanding the creator and moving with them. Some will be faster than others, some will be slower than others, but we move with them. But the future certainly is going to be more creators essentially turning into businesses in their own right and needing to hire people that work on them full time outside of just management. And that's going to mainly be in a content and creative space. But it's certainly now something that we can see happening with lots of our creators that are launching new initiatives, businesses, platforms, and everything else. So, but yeah, I mean, credit to Lyanna, one of the hardest workers I know, very, very fast learner, puts everything into it because, from her mind, it's all going to her audience, which that's her everything. And that's what makes it successful. We're all on this mission together. And at the end of that mission, there is this objective of changing lives and helping people, and them coming to Lyanna and saying, no, because of you, I got a new job. Because of you, I overcame depression. Because of you, I overcame mental health. And honestly, it's the most rewarding feeling in the world.
And Lyanna, what does it feel like having employees working with you? And what does it look like day to day, week to week in terms of your involvement and working with a bigger team?
Yeah, so I think the way of working has been, whenever I'm traveling, I'm with Saud and Mimi now, so it's more of like they help me manage everything, and we do app calls every single week. Sometimes we'll get on calls with GymShark or brands. So I would say about every other day at least I'm getting on a call with someone about something. But working with people, I don't think I would have been able, I know I wouldn't have been able to do any of this by myself. I think Saud has helped me even learn to communicate better with people in way of feedback. Also, I would say with brands, Sod is always communicating to brands as well. So it's not always going to me first. It always goes to Sod first before it gets to me. And I think that has helped me massively, even at points in my life where I was probably going through a terrible, like, I was mentally down, especially whenever I was transitioning. I wanted to push everyone out of my life for some reason. I think we all have like an identity crisis at one point. And Sod was still making sure that, you know, brands are fine, my app team is fine, even my videographer, my editor, like everyone I was working with was always reassured. And yeah, it's been honestly amazing, but it's been challenging at the same time for sure. But I wouldn't have been able to do it without Sod for sure.
And it sounds like you've got a great working relationship. What recommendations would you have for other creators listening or other people in the industry, and from just the way that you work together?
So do you want to go first? I mean, I guess I'll go first. I would communication, even if it's hard, I think sometimes you won't agree on everything, but always communicating and coming to a solution where you both align. I also think finding someone that you can trust or learn to trust. I think going into, you know, as a creator, you're kind of scared to get into management. No offense, Sod, but management has like a bad reputation. And so finding someone that you trust and someone who can give you that reassurance that they are, you know, they have your best interests at heart. Also, I think someone who aligns with you for sure, someone who understands you. But I think I'm probably missing something. So do you want to add on?
I think those are all important points. I think first things first, we're both human beings. This is a very real relationship. Being invested into her vision from day one. I think that's the kind of like reason we started. I think always remembering why we're doing this, who we're doing it for, is really, really important, because in no way, this is coming up to our 4th year now. And there is no way that that's all going to be good times, right? So ultimately there are highs and lows, and we're committed to both sides of the highs and the lows. We're always there for Lyanna, you know, because she goes through so many things. So I think that having a very real human relationship, very, very honest from day one, you know, myself, and I tell my entire team, you know, we aren't here to be yes people for our clients. We are here to deliver success, to be there as human beings, you know, to deliver promising futures. And if you're going to be a yes person, that might not result in that. You know, they've hired us for our expertise, for our judgment, for our experience, and it's important that we also stay true to that. You know, creators are such big profiles; they have the world at their feet, and it can be easy to be like, yeah, you're right. You know, like, okay, let's do it your way, versus actually saying that, well, actually, we really know this. This is what we know well. We know business, we know brands, we know partnership, we know content, we know platforms. So, you know, learning that you do what you're really good at, we're going to do what we're really good at, and we're going to come together, and we're going to be open and honest about that. And you might, like Lyanna said, we might not always agree, but by the end of those conversations, that might be difficult, we will align. And it's always what's best for the creator and the audience at the end of the day. So I think all of this together, this transparency is very, very important. So yeah, and our fundamental goal is that we do our job so well that Lyanna or any other creator can go and be the best content creator they can be. And that's the ultimate goal. And that's what we're always working towards.
Well, it's been amazing to hear your story today and the success you've had working together. Before we go, can you just share, are there any up and coming projects that you're working on that you can tease us with?
Yeah, I would say the first thing is the Modest collection that's launching with GymShark. It will be in Selfridges, and it will also be in the Dubai store that is opening as well. Son, do you want to add on?
Yeah, I think that's the next. Well, this year, Q4, we have a lot of new initiatives coming out for Lyanna, digital initiatives based around community that will help her to improve not improve, help her to make the relationship with her audience more consistent, more intimate, if you like. Her audience are always wanting to speak to her, get to know her, extract value from her, and we have a new initiative launching for that, for her community in November, all being well. And then of course her app, we have challenges going on in Q4, going into Q1 of 2025, you know, coming into January, a very big season for fitness and mental health and well-being. GymShark Modest Collection, which is a global launch. It's launching all around the world, from the UAE to the US to the UK. So a lot of attention going to be there in January. I think next year, really looking forward to launching Lyanna's podcast as well, along with other initiatives. But we're really excited about her podcast, which we're going to be launching in 2025. So lots on the horizon. Yeah, and we're very, very excited for it.
Wow, you're certainly going to be very busy. Well, thank you so much for both joining me today. I'm really excited to follow the journey, and good luck with the launch in Q4 with GymShark.
Thank you.
so much
for having us, Ian. It's been great speaking to you.
Thank you.